Have you ever noticed that the more you are awakened, the less you desire to fit in? I know some of us who have been through a spiritual awakening, we may be wondering, how do I reconnect with society now that my values and priority have shifted? How do I navigate a world where I no longer share the same belief as those around me? What should I do? Like, I feel so out of place with my social circles. And you know what? Not fitting in could actually be a good thing for your spiritual growth and awakening. On the flip side, trying too hard to fit in or reintegrate into society might actually hold you back. Let me explain. Before our spiritual awakening, we often try to fit in because we crave social acceptance. We want to feel like we belong. But deeper than that, we are also trying to avoid pain, like the pain of rejection and exclusion. And even deeper than that, there is also an underlying pain of shame and guilt. Sometimes just having a different perspective or standing out can draw negative attention to you. People might question you or criticize you for not following the norm as though you have done something wrong or you are weird for thinking differently. And that subconsciously may cause you to feel ashamed of yourself. I know that feeling too well growing up because I never truly felt like I fit in anywhere. But even so, I try my best to fit in. In school, I'll lower my visibility, I'll stay quiet, avoided sharing my opinions, and did everything I could to blend into the background. I did that because I didn't want to stand out too much and get bullied by others. And I did a wonderful job for not being in the limelight. But over time, I realized something. Hiding who I was didn't protect me at all. It actually made me feel ashamed of myself. Of course, if you don't share your thoughts or show your true self, people won't notice you and will not judge you. But the thing is, I'm actually judging myself by hiding myself. By dimming your light to fit in means you stop celebrating your own uniqueness. It means you suppress your true self, your soul, your gift, your light. I'm not saying we should just go around sharing every spiritual insight with everyone or intentionally try to be different and stand out. But we shouldn't feel ashamed of our spiritual belief or practices. We don't have to deliberately hide our spiritual side from others. Like when I saw 111 on my phone, I just told my brother, hey, it's 111. I saw it again. Like he doesn't get the significance, and I don't have to convince him, but I don't have to hide it either. People might think that you are crazy, weird, strange, and that's fine. Embrace being weird. Let them have their own opinions. It's not our job to care what they think. The key is not to have self judgment. Don't use other people as an excuse to judge yourself. Don't assume you know that they are judging you and use that against yourself, because that will disconnect you from your spiritual self. Instead, we need to embrace the light within. We need to shine brightly, be a guide, be a source of direction for those who resonate with it. Those who are drawn to your light will come to you, and those who aren't, or those who don't understand you, they will drift away. And that's okay. We don't need everyone to agree with us. However, what we don't want to do is to dim our light and just fit into the mass unconsciousness. We don't want to numb ourselves just to fit in, just to feel a sense of belonging. Because the validation and acceptance we receive from being in groups is often empty, it's conditioned. If you agree with society or a certain group and they validate you, but if you don't, they shame or reject you, then that kind of acceptance is based on conformity, not authenticity. It stifles everything that the spirit represents, like creativity, freedom, curiosity, and openness. It hinders our spiritual awakening and connection to our souls. I remember my time in school. Even though I managed to fit in, I still don't feel like I belong. And you know why? Because what people accepted me wasn't the real me. It was a version of myself I created to please others. So it didn't feel good. True belonging only comes when you embrace and live as your authentic self. And you know why the more you are awakened, the less you desire to fit in? It's because lying to yourself feels way worse than feeling lonely or isolated. Disconnecting with your inner being feels way more painful than disconnecting with others. Once you are spiritually awakened, you can't ignore your true self anymore. Like, try suppressing who you really are just to fit in. You can try it. It's exhausting. It can leave you feeling depressed, disconnected, even numb. It's like cutting yourself from the source, and that separation hurts. When you experience the loving, peaceful, joyful energy of source during spiritual awakening, when you notice that deep connection, turning away from it feels unbearable. You become so sensitive to your own vibration that even the smallest deviation from alignment feels awful. Before spiritual awakening, it's easy to stay stuck in fear, frustration, or anger because you're so used to those emotions. But once you see what's possible, when you felt those higher vibration, you won't want to linger in those lower states anymore. You stop sacrificing your authenticity for some false sense of acceptance or belonging. You start to see beyond the surface. You have a stronger discernment now, and suddenly conforming to social norms or blindly following what a group does and thinks just doesn't make sense anymore. You start letting societal expectation dictate how you live, and doesn't that freedom feels incredible? The great thing about spiritual awakening is that once you experience oneness with the world, you realize there's no need to fit in. You know that you are never separate from others to begin with. We are all interconnected, even if our beliefs, priorities, and values differ. You can still find peace and harmony without needing validation or approval from others, without needing them to agree with your perspective. You also don't need to force yourself to believe in something just for the sake of harmony, just to please others. Differences actually brings variety and abundance, not division and separation. One is closer to spiritual perspective, the other is closer to egoic perspective. Society often defines success as getting status, money, and material possession. But you get to decide what success means for you. Nobody can tell you if you are successful or not. For me, success is about freedom. Freedom to create, freedom to share my insight, freedom to express myself. Whether I'm rich or poor, living in a condo or a tiny apartment, as long as I'm creating what I love, I'm happy. As long as I feel aligned with my soul, I'm successful. I just need to do what my soul desires and not follow someone else's version of success. Maybe for you, your soul craves a simple life, a non 9 to 5 lifestyle, or living in rural areas. And that's your definition of success. And no one can say that you're wrong. On the flip side, if you prefer to work in a 9 to 5 job or a city life, that's perfectly fine too. Some people feel guided by their souls to make a big impact, and they can leverage the system available in the corporate environment to do so. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to limit yourself thinking that just because you're spiritual, you can't work in a corporate environment. It's more about what aligns with your soul. Not fitting into societal norm shouldn't be a struggle since it's not what your soul desires in the first place. But if you are waiting for the system or society to change, so it validates your choices, your lifestyle, your belief, then that's an issue. Because systems are meant and designed for stability. Even if they are built on outdated or false belief, change takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Relying too much on the system to change so that you can feel at peace only keeps you tied to something external that's beyond your control. It shows that you're still very much identified with the group, the collective, the society, which means there's more inner work to do. You know, after spiritual awakening, most of us first let go of that layer of egoic identity, that attachment to self. Then we'll start to let go of the group identity, the attachment to belonging or fitting in with others or a certain group, like country, religion. Both are layers to peel back as you move closer to your authentic self, closer to your soul. If you feel like no one understands you after spiritual awakening, that's actually a good thing. Watch this video for more insights.